This is not a class. There's no quizzing. This is basically something very, very simple. This is me.
Very informal.
And the team explaining the process. You know, it's a big process. It's a scary process. But if you understand what it actually is, it's simple. It's simple for us, we do it every day. But we also understand and have compassion for you guys being first-time home buyers. There's a lot of hand-holding. We get that. We understand that. We respect that. It's a lot of money. It's not a pair of shoes. So what we're here to do today is kind of just run down the steps for you. That's it. Just let you know what needs to be done and in which order it's being done and who handles what. Because a lot of the time you're like, who's taking care of an inspection? Oh, do I call the lawyer? No. So this is all broken down for you. And of course, after today, if there's any questions, all of our numbers are on the flyer or the pamphlet that you got. You can reach out to any one of us. So first, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know it's Monday. I know it's coming close to the holiday season. I'm sure you have a ton of fun things to do besides listen to me for the next half hour. But I want to first introduce my team, which is Giuseppe De Bartola, Barbara Ventura, and Margaret Giarduini. We have here Leslie, who's the attorney. We also have Robert from Premier Home Inspection, who's outside. And last, saving the best for last, we have Kenneth Tong here from Valley National. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Let's get this party started. All right, so the introduction. Just wanted to, the first thing that's important is finding an agent that has a proven track record and you're comfortable working with. You know, being comfortable working with a real estate agent is very important. You have to feel like you can connect with that person, whoever it may be. That's why we have a nice sized team. So if you don't like me, you might like him. If you don't like him, you might like her. And if you don't like none of us, there's Marco at the end, you know, so there's four of us. Yeah. So, you know, finding somebody that you connect with, somebody that you trust, somebody that you know is going to be there for your needs and your needs only. Okay, guys, welcome. So, the steps to buying a home. The first thing you want to do is, of course, find an agent that makes you comfortable, somebody who's very knowledgeable and has a proven record. The second, and I feel is probably even more important than the real estate agent, is linking up with the right person when it comes to your finances. This is somebody that you're going to be talking to often. This is somebody that you're going to be confiding all your finances to. This is somebody who's going to tell you can or you can't do. This is very, very important that you feel a good connection as well with the bank. And you want to go with somebody who specializes in kind of what you're looking for. First-time home buyers, knows areas, so this is very important as well too. Getting pre-approved. So everybody feels they know what their budget is. Knowing your budget comes after sitting with a mortgage professional. So people are shocked what they can and can't afford. So honestly, Kenneth is here to let you know. So many times I have people say, hey, I'm good for $500,000. I don't want to pay more than X amount every month. They get pre-approved and they realize X amount every month is $625. It brings them to a completely different range, completely different. And now you're looking at a completely different home. So getting pre-approved is so important. And sometimes you think, you can buy $1 million house, and realistically, we're looking at a $350 co-op. You know, so there's the difference. And also, when you link up with a mortgage professional, another thing that's very important is they'll give you tips. You might not be ready to buy today. You might not, and that's completely understandable. But they'll give you the keys of what you need to do to get to the final goal. Why we're all here is to purchase a home. Okay. Next, finding a comfortable price point and tax. So basically, everybody that gets a mortgage is rolling their taxes and their mortgage together. So you want to look for a comfortable tax zone as well. If you're allotted $5,000 a month, you don't want to go look at a, $800,000 house in a $20,000 tax range. You know, it's just not going to work. The numbers aren't going to work. You're going to want to look more along the lines of, you know, a $700,000 house in a $10,000 price range. And she'll give you more accurate numbers. I'm just giving numbers out. So that, she's laughing because I made a mistake somewhere along that. So, you know. Yeah, she's like, yeah, Baldo made a mistake, and I will text him tonight. But that's also very important too. You know, we do pay taxes. There's a lot of things as first-time home buyers that we kind of overlook. So there's taxes, there's insurance, and then you know, she'll talk a little bit more about that when it comes down to final payment as we get closer. Everyone out looking for a house, for their first house, you know, it's a big dream. But oddly enough, even though it's a big dream, we dream huge during that dream. You know, we're looking for a certain house with a walk-in closet, with a master bath, with, you know, a third floor just for closet space. So the real things that I say is realistic must-haves and wants. It's so important to really know what you need. You have 3 kids, you're probably going to need more than a 2-bedroom house. You know, that's probably going to be high on your priority list, depending on school districts. These are all things that you really want to look at and gauge in on when you're looking to buy. So realistic wants and needs. That's definitely something that that you'd want to kind of know, and that's a conversation that you could have with any one of us as well. Like, realistically, can I get, you know, an in-ground pool in this area with 4 bedrooms? And I'll be honest with you, yes or no. You know, it's that easy. Banks, do's and don'ts. Banks, do's and don'ts are definitely going to be something that Kenneth is going to talk to you about as well. Nobody buy a Ferrari when you're looking for your first home, okay? So just leave the Ferrari until after closing date. You know, you want to kind of keep things very simple. My rule, and it's a little tight. My rule is, if you're going to spend more than $300, call Kenneth. After $300, that phone call should happen. Hey, I'm buying my mom a new fence. You know, it's only $6,000. She'll give it back to me. No, mom has to wait. All right, everybody has to wait before you spend any money. During the process of buying a house, make sure you have that conversation with Kenneth. And of course, there's other things like good debt. You don't want to close out any cards or any debt unless Kenneth says it's a good idea. So a lot of people think, oh, I have to clear out all my debt. So if you have a debt of $50,000 to a school loan and your payment's $200 a month, it looks a lot better for you to have $50,000 in your bank account than you're paying a $200 loan every month, you know? So that's good debt. So that's something that's very important too. Don't run out and buy, settle your debt. That's why it's very important to have a team around you. So that was our introduction. There's only a few more pages like this, so don't worry about it. All right, so now we have preparation. Preparation is narrowing down your areas. It's very important to kind of know what you're looking for. If you're not sure what area you're looking for, you know, it's winter now, but jump in the car. Go spend a couple of days out there, wherever you're looking at, wherever it may be. If you're not sure about the area, kind of get to know the area. Go to the supermarket. Maybe go to a place of worship on the weekend. See, you know, just kind of get the feel of the area, and if that's where you want to be. You know, because many times people, oh, I love this house. They move in and they're like, I don't know, I don't feel like this is my place. So just kind of know what you want and narrow it down. I would never go to more than 2 areas at once. So if you're going to focus in, I would focus in on 2 areas and no more than that. And for my sake, please don't let it be like Franklin Square and Montauk, because you know, you kind of want to keep them bunched together.
Marco de Montauk.
Yeah, Marco de Montauk. I'll do it. That's good. All right. Scheduling times during the week and the weekend. That's also very important, especially when you're looking for a house. The market has shifted. It's not the same market it was during COVID, which is a good thing, and I guess a little scary for first-time home buyers because they're just not educated on what's going on. The rates are now roughly
say 6.5?
6.5. Yeah. So rates are around 6.5. But the difference is between having a 6.5% rate and paying $80,000 over ask on a property. So that's what it was before, and that's what it is. And now another thing is, there's always the opportunity to refinance. We're not 100 years old. We know what's going on. We have our ear to the market. You know, wanting to or not, you're going to find out when rates are low, and that's when interest. And then that's when everybody jumps back to refinance. You need roughly what, around 3 years to make it make sense.
It's typically more with the interest rates, right? Because if the interest rate typically is 1% difference than what you have, also depending on the loan size. If you have a mortgage that is $100,000 to $200,000, 1% is not going to make a big difference in the monthly payment. So then when you refinance it, you really do need to, like if you're my customers, I always will be running the math. Does it make sense? Because when you refinance, a lot of lenders out there say there's no cost. Fixed cost. Okay? Just a matter of who paid for it, how is being paid. So when we compare the difference in the payment, we have to also compare what is the cost to see if it makes sense.
It's like the closing cost again?
If you go buy a cup of coffee, there's tax, right? Everything has to be done, and there's certain thing has to be repaid again. So that's going to be all based on the loan size and see if it makes sense. Okay? So it will be, but there should not be any, if the loan doesn't have any penalty to pay back any time, then you can refinance any time, but the market has to make sure that it makes sense.
Yeah, these are all valid questions because again, we don't know. So I'm saying we because these are all things that need to be learned. You know, again, it's a big move. Buying a house is a huge move. So we want to be sure on every step. Are interest rates at 6.5? Yes. Is the Fed meeting on the 13th? Could they possibly go up? Yes. Could they possibly go down? I'm going to say no, but yeah, they could. So it's all depending on what's going on in the economy, and that's the way it is. It could possibly go up higher. But the fear of not buying something because of a rate, to me, is, you know, if you're educated properly and know that you can refinance, there are other options. How many people, if you ask anybody that you know who owned the house more than 5 years, during COVID, they refinanced. They refinanced, absolutely. So thank you. So, you know, there's options out of it. I don't want anybody to be too frightened of that 6.5.
There's a saying that some people use is, you date the rate, you don't never marry it. So
You date the rates, you marry the house. That is a whole term, okay? But we can talk more about
that's gonna
later on.
Yeah.
Okay?
So then we have so scheduling your time and your setup. Still, even though, like I said, the market has shifted, you still want definitely to, you know, be aggressive. If something you like, you want to be one of the first to see it. I never liked playing these games where it's back and forth, best and final. I'm not a fan of it. I think that if you go in, you see a house, I or one of my team members do an evaluation on the property. We check, we do a CMA, which is a comparative market analysis, and we do it for buyers. So that means we look to see what's sold in the area in the last 3 months and for how much it's sold for. Because you could still have COVID brain and think that, oh yeah, my house is still worth $1 bajillion. No, the prices are finally starting to shift. So what we do is we set up and we set up your open houses, we call ahead just in case one of us can't make it. We come to every single showing most likely during the week. So we kind of get your schedule and then we work around your schedule. But we try to be aggressive in showings. We want to make sure that you have the best opportunity to find what you're looking for. And then again, like even putting in an offer, you know, you want to do it the right way. So the next thing is you have one time to do a first time impression, especially on your offer. So before we go out to see our first house, we have our pre-approval set. We have all our paperwork signed. We have everything set on a file. So all I have to do is plug in house number, plug in amount, plug in down payment, hit send. And it comes with absolutely everything, which shows the selling agent, these people know what they're doing. So just so you know, we all do it exactly the same way. We represent you as best as you can be represented. And that means so much in this business. When I'm putting up listings and I have somebody send me 3 text messages, 1 email, and a smoke signal to send in 1 offer, I'm like, this is a joke. I'm like, please, send me proper paperwork. So what we do is our first impression is always the best impression. Finding a match for what we're looking for. Finding a match for what we're looking for. It's an amazing time. It really is. We go look at a few houses, you find the house, and all of a sudden things start to tickle, and you feel good, you feel happy. You're like, all right, this is it. This is my house, and you don't always get it. So, it's something that I never look at it with a negative glass. I don't believe in it. When I go, I believe that we're gonna get what we're gonna get. We're gonna go in aggressive. We're gonna do it as professional as possible, and we're gonna put it on the table so people want to take our offer. But if I didn't pre-warn somebody, hey, look, we're too low on this offer. Possibly would you want to come up? Or there's 24 other offers. Somebody else's terms might be better. They might not be giving as much as we are, but they might have better terms. So people who say cash and credit is the same, absolutely not. Cash is always king and always will be, and it sucks for all of us who don't walk around with briefcases full of cash. But when we do find the one that we're looking for, it's all about preparation, making sure that we're ready to put that offer in. Okay. Offers. You're almost up. Sorry. I know. I won't stop you. Making an offer, just kind of like what I just said, it's all about making sure that we're presenting it properly, all our paperwork is in a row, you're comfortable with what you want to do. With a purchase, one more thing I'm going to throw in there. Never buy something that you can afford. Buy something you're comfortable with. It's that simple. Your son's going to want to go to Disney. He's going to want to. Well, want it or not, he's going to want to. That's my daughter thought that it was the Disney store at the Roosevelt Field Mall. So when it closed, I was like, oh no, I got to actually take them to Disney now. But you still want to continue living your life. So that's why Kenneth is so important in this, because she's going to be off by a few dollars. She'll tell you exactly what you're going to be paying for and how much you'll be paying every month with your taxes, title, and your insurance, all of that wrapped into one. She'll tell you more about that. So always be comfortable with your payment. Don't buy something you can afford. There's a big difference between the two. Offers accepted. Woo! We have an accepted offer. They said yes. It's over. That's it. You guys just pack your bags, move in. We're good to go. We don't have to worry about anything else. So once the offer is accepted, the first thing we do is we get the inspection. The inspection is one of the most important things after getting offer accepted. So during COVID times, the most important things during an inspection was roof, foundation, plumbing, and electric, right? I'm not a GC. I'm not a general contractor. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. And this is why I work with Rob primarily. Rob is an inspector, licensed, has a team. He's excellent. He's been nothing but great to me while working with him. We're working for about a year now. He's been excellent. He's honest. He does the right thing. All the top technology, from some drones to infrared lighting, all that good stuff. My suggestion would always be get a licensed and insured inspector. Please, Rob, would you like to say a couple words? Sure. Thank you.
Should have had that sandwich today. So, hello, everybody that's looking to buy a home. So, as Baldo said, it's very important when you're purchasing a home to know what you're buying, especially flip houses and things like that. So what we do, myself and my team, we look at everything from the foundation from the roof on down to the foundation. So we traverse roofs. We use thermal cameras, which is the red camera he's talking about. So we're checking for thermal blocks, past water and damage, current active water damage, make sure that the heating systems are properly working, make sure the electrical systems, we're making sure that everything's properly gauged, make sure that it has the proper safety features in place, make sure that it's GFI protected in the bathrooms, kitchens, things like that. So along with that, what we do is we supply a detailed report to everybody. Then what you do is you sit down with your realtor, your attorneys, and that's when you go back and forth. There's no perfect home. So certain things you're going to say, okay, that's fine, I plan on doing this. And then there's certain things, let's say if the roof is at the end of its economic life, it may be up for negotiation. If there's a crack in the foundation, the heating system is at the end of its economic life, hasn't been maintained. These are all things that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when they can become problems. So you don't want to go and spend all your hard-earned money, and then all of a sudden you move into the house 2 weeks later, you pop in a new boiler into the house. So we try to eliminate any of those unforeseens or money pits. So that's really what our role is to do. We all are licensed, insured. All my guys trained under me. I have a full staff. Jen's one of my employees. She takes care of all the back end stuff. She'll harass you after the inspection, make sure you're happy, get your reviews. But that's really what we're there to do, answer all the questions. A lot of first-time home buyers, they may not know where the shutoff valves are, or what to do, some preventative maintenance stuff, caulking, keeping the topography graded properly. There's a million things that go on with a house. So we just try to enlighten you, educate you, and make sure that you guys are comfortable upon closing on your purchase. All right, but we'll be around, so if you guys have any questions, Jen will hand out some flyers and stuff like that. Okay? I know it's a little crowded in here.
So,
Hello, everybody that's looking to buy a home. So, as Baldo said, so it's very important when you're purchasing a home to know what you're buying, especially flip houses and things like that. So what we do, myself and my team, we look at everything from the foundation down, from the roof on down to the foundation. So we traverse roofs. We use thermal cameras, which is the red camera he's talking about. So we're checking for thermal blocks, past water and damage, current active water damage, make sure that the heating systems are properly working, make sure the electrical systems, we're making sure that everything's properly gauged, make sure that it has the proper safety features in place, make sure that it's GFI protected in the bathrooms, kitchens, things like that. So along with that, what we do is we supply a detailed report to everybody. Then what you do is you sit down with your realtor, your attorneys, and that's when you go back and forth. There's no perfect home. So certain things you're going to say, okay, that's fine, I plan on doing this. And then there's certain things, let's say if the roof is at the end of its economic life, it may be up for negotiation. If there's a crack in the foundation, the heating system is at the end of its economic life, hasn't been maintained. These are all things that it's not a question of if, it's a question of when they can become problems. So you don't want to go and spend all your hard-earned money, and then all of a sudden you move into the house 2 weeks later, you pop in a new boiler into the house. So we try to eliminate any of those unforeseens or money pits. So that's really what our role is to do. We all are licensed, insured. All my guys trained under me. I have a full staff. Jen's one of my employees. She takes care of all the back end stuff. She'll harass you after the inspection, make sure you're happy, get your reviews. But that's really what we're there to do, answer all the questions. A lot of first-time home buyers, they may not know where the shutoff valves are, or what to do, some preventative maintenance stuff, caulking, keeping the topography graded properly. There's a million things that go on with a house. So we just try to enlighten you, educate you, and make sure that you guys are comfortable upon closing on your purchase. All right, but we'll be around, so if you guys have any questions, Jen will hand out some flyers and stuff like that. Okay? I know it's a little crowded in here.
So-
Inspection, and if they say there's such and such that needs to be fixed, that's when we can negotiate.
So that's when we sit down, and typically I ask your permission first, and you say yes. So I ask Rob, with their permission, can you please send me a copy of the report? So he typically gets it out within 24 hours. Once we have the report, usually we'll get on a phone or we'll meet up in person, and we'll just go through it. I'll probably walk you off the ledge of about 20 things that are just, nothing. But if there is something of substance, we either want them to fix it by somebody who's licensed, or we're going to ask for credit back. And we're going to check with our bank to make sure that whatever the issues are, the bank is still okay with it. So this is why it's good to have. So there's some problems that, that aren't mortgageable. If the house is falling down or there's water running through the house, exactly. So it's very important to kind of go through that, and that's why people are like, it's X amount of money for an inspection. Is it worth it? I'll tell you what it is. I just don't want it to be on film because it might go up in a month. It's the new year. So it's very important to have an inspection done. I feel like it really breaks it down, and these people do what they're doing every single day. I go into houses. Can I spot a million things wrong with them? Absolutely, I can. But the $1,000,001 thing is what's going to cost you the money, and that's what he could spot. And I would never take that responsibility because I'm the realtor, and that's why everybody has their job. Okay, so we did the inspection. Minor issues?
Can I just jump on?
Yeah, please.
And what we also do is we offer as an ancillary service, we will come back on certain things, like if, let's say there was a repair to the roof, or there was a plumbing leak, anything that's pretty substantial, we will come back and we'll reevaluate to make sure that it was done properly. Just because somebody says they repaired it, doesn't necessarily mean it was repaired. So again, if let's say you're missing an outlet cover, you're not going to pay for my service to come back and take a look at that. I mean, Helen Keller will tell you that it was now put back on. But like if there was a, improper negative polarity or open ground, or there was a double tap on the electrical panel, a leak in the roof, whatever it may be, something substantial, then we would come back. We'll take a look, we'll revise our reports, and then when Baldo goes back to the attorney, before you final walkthrough, you can say, okay, all these issues that were agreed upon were rectified, they were re-inspected, here's the revision, and there shouldn't be any issues.
Absolutely. So once that's discussed and it's addressed, it can be addressed, again, several ways. It could be a deduction, it could be, or it could be something simple. So once that's done, then what do we do? The fun part, choosing an attorney. We want to make sure, cue Leslie. So the next thing that we do is we choose an attorney. We should kind of have one in sights.
I have one job.
So what we want to do is we want to choose the attorney, and we kind of want to know who our attorney is. We kind of want to be ready with that. We want that bullet in the gun. My recommendation highly would be Leslie, especially for first-time home buyers. I think we have 2 deals right now working together, and they're both very delicate. And she's been a saint. I'm sorry. Yeah. So picking an attorney and making sure that you're comfortable with your attorney is something important too. Picking your attorney, the seller sends contracts. Contracts are sent to our attorney, which we're going to say is Leslie. Leslie, would you like to come up and just give a brief little just a swipe of what goes after the contracts are sent to you?
Yes. So when I get the contracts, I'll review them, and it's not an alarming thing that you haven't seen them when they're reviewed, because these are standard things. Like if you were a baker, how do you bake this kind of bread? Like it's like certain things that go into a contract, and if they're not there, we ask them to put them in, and if they are, if there's something else there, we ask them to pull it out. So whenever I reach out to a client and say, okay, I've got the contract, let me know when you can review it, it's kind of done, except for we go through it, and anything that is incorrect or has changed maybe, especially inspection items, and that is important. And I made a note because the law in New York is buyer beware, and that's why you do your inspection. You get a credit at closing unless it's a condo, a co-op, a trust, or an estate that you're buying from. It kind of like makes you whole after you pay for that inspection, but if you don't raise it, you can't raise it later. So those are important to go through when it comes to the contract time. And if you're happy, and that's fine. I was happy when I bought, and Lord knows there are a lot of things that could have changed. But as long as you're comfortable and happy, I'm happy doing that with you. So once you sign them, you either write a check or you schedule a wire transfer for the down payment, and that goes to the sellers. They're not going to sign until they have that money. So if you e-sign and then you mail the check, they might sign, but they're not going to give them to us until they get your money. So as soon as I get them back, I order title. I always try and do it the same day, because you never know. The county might get hacked like it did recently. Anything can happen, so it's my job to make sure that my due diligence is ordered as soon as possible, so I don't cause any delay, or our side doesn't cause any delay that the sellers could come at us for. So yeah, you're going to have your title search. I'll come back, and we've got to make sure title is clear. The seller may have things they have to clear. You might have some red light tickets you didn't know about that you got to pay for. I've had a client who was recently divorced and refused to pay something his ex-wife got in his car. And I was like, is it worth the house? And it wasn't. He paid it. So, like, there are some things that just aren't negotiable because your lender isn't going to want you to have liens against the property as soon as you sign the deed. So they're going to make you pay those and clear those so that you have a clean slate when you get started. Trying to title report. Once title's clear, you're basically, after you sign, you're going to be with a loan officer. You're going to get your commitment, and then you're clear to close. And I don't know how everyone does it, but I usually stay in touch and kind of like let you know where it's at, or if you have a question, you can always ask.
She's great with that. And trust me, you guys will be, whoever is buying with me, I have a great relationship. I'm young enough to where I'm up late enough, and I'm old enough to where I'm up early enough to where I take your phone calls whenever.
I've been up since yesterday, so I'm always here.
And I tend to ask Leslie as well to keep me looped in on all the emails so I know what's going on every step of your purchase as well. Because it's very important to me that I started with you, and me and the team, this is the way we do it. We're constant, and we're not like, oh, great contract, thanks, see you later, bye. No, we're there. Question after question after question, hand-holding, and this is why this group of people that you see here in this room today is here. Because they're probably the best when it comes to first-time home.
Communication is key, especially with first-time home buyers, because you're a little nervous. You don't know what the next step is, and if everyone knows that, we can kind of gauge that and, let you know everything's okay, because otherwise things get, stressful, intense. It's not like the happy, fun experience it's supposed to be, but it's not, oh, this is the one, and you move in. Not all the time, but we try and get it as close to that as possible if we can.
Appreciate you. The attorney finishes, we send out, we get title, we get survey. Title report, as she said, is very important. Title report, you buy a house, 10 years later, you get a phone call, Billy owns 10% of your house. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? No, that's not true. We did a title search, title is clear, you pay title insurance on it, and that's why when you buy your house, it's your house. It's no one else's house. It's very important. And down south, a lot of people don't use attorneys. They use their realtor. And I'm like, that's crazy. Anybody I know who I've referred out of state, I'm like, pay the attorney. I'm like, this is a pretty serious thing. I'm like, you want to make sure somebody is doing exactly what you need done. Okay, so that's what's happening with that, with the attorney. Final steps. Mortgage application, home appraisal, underwriting. This is all to Kenneth. Kenneth is going to come up and she's going to explain all the fun stuff to you. Kenneth is so knowledgeable when it comes to every step, and she really does fight to find you the best for your money. She looks at every option. Sometimes you're like, what is that? I never even heard of that. And she's like, it's new. It just came out yesterday. We're allowed to do it. Let's go with it. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. But she's going to kind of give you the full rundown of all the fun stuff that she gets to do. Please come.
So I created this because 95% of my business are first-time home buyers. So a lot of times exactly what happened first, what happened after, who's involved, what am I supposed to do next? And I try to make this a little bit easier to everyone to follow. So Baldo basically already start, right? If you start with the green button, this is where you start. You're going to get pre-approved. And then pre-approved is basically talking to a loan consultant, home mortgage consultant, understand what are your options, where you're at, what can you finance, what's your purchase power, right? And then understand all the numbers, what you can get qualified for, what will be the monthly payments, how much money that you can actually need to have ready at the bank, what will be the options. So getting pre-approved will be a process that I will be spending time with the individual, most of the time through a phone call, because we don't do a lot face-to-face no more, right? But a phone call does it. We usually schedule time to talk with a couple together. Probably will be either in the evening or the weekend, it could be lunchtime. And then after we have the conversations, then I will email to the couples of the link to complete a quick online application, so you have all your basic informations along with the list of materials based on my phone call with you, where you work, who do you bank with, so that we have documents to support and validate our conversations, right? And after I get all the paperwork, we submit the applications, we'll be able to reveal, and I will be able to get, okay, indeed this person make that much money, and how much income the bank, from our perspective, that we can call that as qualified income, right? Because there are different ways to look at income. If you're self-employed or you're off the book, there's somebody who's getting a W-2 every paycheck that you have to pay tax. So how we look at income is slightly different depending on each professions. But once we finish that process, I will be having a phone call with my couples or my borrower to say, hey, we finished the analysis. When will be a good time? Let's talk. And then we'll go over the numbers. How much what are the options? What is the monthly payment? How much money we have out from you that we need from these transactions? Why do you need that? And then once we have that discussions, we're comfortable with the number, I will then prepare the pre-approval letter, email it to you, email it to your real estate professions. And one thing that is so different that I want to talk about, what Baldo touched very little from the beginning, is property tax. There are a lot of loan officers, a lot of lenders out there just very roughly give you a rough number about, you can buy a house for $500,000. But they never give you very detailed. They never tell you the details. It's $500,000 back into April when the interest rate is 3.5% with the property tax of $8,000. So then you don't know, right? Because you are new to this. So you go out and then Baldo, everybody help you to go find something. Time goes by. It's already now in December. You still having the old number based on $500,000 I can buy for 3.5%. That will be my payment. A lot of the pre-approval letters do not have interest rate on it. It does not tell you what is going to be the property tax that you qualify for. So whenever I'm very anal with numbers, I every time tell my customer, I am a number person. I doesn't matter, even though that's the worst subject I hate the most when I was in class, when I was in school. But my job is nothing about math. I have to run math with you guys, make sure that's the math that you're comfortable with, and I can tell you you can get this money based on math. So my pre-approval will always come with what interest rate it's qualified with, up to what is the property tax on that house. So then when you and I have the discussions that after you pre-approve, I will say this pre-approval is subject to the property tax up to $12,000. Okay? And that is based on the interest rate of such. And so, let's say we got the pre-approval done. That's why you see the little map. I'm just going to run real quick, right? So Baldo and team help you find a home, right? And then after you make the home, you make an offer. You went over. And then home inspection. You have the great team right here going through the inspection. After the inspection is done, everything is fine, then you go and then you got to know the numbers, right? Because you're going to know, okay, now the inspection is done. There's a little credit. We accepted offer for $700, but something happened with the house with the inspection. They knocked down the price by $5,000. All right, what's my number? What's my payment? Because you have to know your payment before you go sign contract, right? So you and I will connect. We're going to update all the numbers, make sure that's the number that you're comfortable with the final, and that's when you go to sign the contract with your attorney. Your attorney is going to review the terms and details of the contract, right, prior to you signing. So one thing we talked about earlier was, Leslie said, money. My customer is so cute sometimes. When they are first-time home buyer, they're very, very nervous, right? Because it's the first home. One thing I actually been doing it, as I said, so long about first-time home buyer. Sometimes we kind of keeping that too much pressure. It's my first home. It's my first home. It has to be perfect. It has to be this home. It's one of the things that you buy. It's a big item. It's a big purchase, but it is not it for the rest of your life. Most of the home buyers stay in that house for only 8 years. Sometimes you own a car. I own my car since 2007. It's a lot longer. It's okay. But the point here is that it's not your once and forever. This is not your marriage. It's just only one house that you grow your family. It's your starter home.
I can honestly add to that. I have 2 daughters that cost way more than what my house costs. So I'm going to tell you, you will spend more money on other things. You're
Yes,
absolutely right.
you do. And just the emotion is a lot there. We're not saying that it's not an emotional purchase. It is, but it has to be balanced a little bit. Okay, don't mix it. Think this is it. I'm not going to ever move again. Their life changes. You never know what's going to bring you. Okay, so you want to, especially one thing about buying, why it's so important. Are you guys renting right now? Right? So one thing, I'm going to just do the math real quick if you don't mind. Because everybody was talking about renting, interest rate, how much more money nowadays. So I'm just going to do real quick math. Would you mind sharing with me how much is the rent? 1,000? Okay, just 1,000. 1,000 a month. That means a year is $12,000. Right? That's what you spend, 1,000. That money is never going to come back to you, even though it's only very cheap, as you know. And everybody has been crying about how high the interest rate is right now, right? Oh, I should have bought later, I should have bought earlier. We can never go back, we can only go forward. So what I'm thinking about is, let's say right now, if you get a mortgage for $500,000, we'll just do that math. $500,000, let's say you qualify for my first time home buyer program. I'm going to use the rate 5.625%. And then the monthly payment is $28.78. That is based on the principal and interest of the money that you borrow at $500,000. Okay? At the interest rate of 5.625%. And then people say, oh, but I wish I bought it earlier, when it's only 4%. Okay, so 500,000, 4%, how much is the more monthly payment that you pay, right? Back then, you will pay, oh my God, I will pay so much less money because this is only 500,000 at 4%. That is only $23.87. Everybody keeps saying, but I can save so much money, right? But if you're going to just do the math real quick, there is $491 a month, although it's a lot, it seems a lot, but you're still spending $1,000 every month more. That means you still lost the difference of $509 every month that could have gone to the house. Every month you don't buy, you're spending $500 more that you could have to your own savings, your equity. Because when you buy the house, you pay down the money of the mortgage, right? You build equity. You have no choice, just keep going. And as you know, the market continues to improve. There should be an inflation. So one thing I always tell people, stop looking at how much more you have to pay compared to the past. You have no control. You control what you can control, right? Control your destiny by stop spending $12,000 out the window per year. How long have you been renting there? 7 years. Okay, so $12,000 times 7 is only $84,000. But that is the money that you can have saved going forward. The sooner you buy the house. And as I said, this is only at 5.625 now. Earlier, Baldo mentioned, you have a chance to refinance when the market improves. So this is not going to be your forever, once forever. If you don't want to touch it, that's fine, because this is a fixed rate loan. It will stay the same for the rest of the term, but you have an option to lower the interest rate and reduce the payment later on, and you'll continue to save more money. So you stop the bleeding with here by making an actions to get to your home ownership.
That was first-time homebuyers fixed rate, you said?
That is my interest rate today for a first-time home buyer at 5.625%.
You just said they can't, if you can't refi with that?
I didn't say I can refinance. You can refinance any time with my loan, there is no penalty.
She was saying if you choose not to, and that's the risk.
If you do not,
If you choose not to refi ever, it's gonna always be the risk.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is,
okay, yeah, okay. Oh, it'll never, yeah.
Right, it'll never change the risk.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I know typically, ideally, you want to go for the conventional, so 20%. But as first-time home buyers, you don't have to put down,
you don't need to be a first-time home buyer to buy a house not for 20%, okay? So this is one of the biggest myths. It's not a matter of, you want to, there's certain things going back. When you do Amazon, I love to use Amazon because everybody does fine. Amazon purchase, okay? And it's just a matter of, if you want to pay less money, then you have to, it costs more money to get that, right? Just like you don't want to pay all this on your credit card one shot on Amazon, you can go to a firm, apply, and then you can break into 6 months, then there could be 2%, 3%, or 5% for you to break down the payment. Same thing as you put lesser money down, it costs you more money to borrow
no,
that
that,
money.
yeah, but
And
you
so-
don't want to deplete all your savings just to make sure you have a conventional loan, and then you're buying this property, you want to have some funds for a rainy
Absolutely.
day.
That's the reason why that, a lot of first-time home buy, because the house nowadays is so expensive, 20% makes it so hard, right? So going back to my program, in terms of first-time home buyer, why my program model, and I know, I've been doing this only since 1993, okay? So it's been just a few years, and I know what's out there. And if most of the time, when you put less than 20% down payment, you're going to have to pay something called PMI, right? So private mortgage insurance is something that you are going to need to pay when it's less than 20% down payment. But my first-time home buy program is a conventional program. The funny thing that because you mentioned conventional, do you know what the opposite of conventional? It's
Non-conventional.
called the government type financing, FHA.
Oh, yes,
Right?
that's right.
A lot of people always kind of having a myth to think FHA is the first-time home buyer. That has nothing to do with it. Okay, I always say just think about FHA is, I would say Costco is FHA and BJ's is two different pieces, okay? They just manufacture different stuff. But the point here is that my first-time home buyer program will not require you to do PMI. To pay PMI, minimum down payment will be 3 to 5%, and there will be no private mortgage insurance.
That's amazing. That is such a difference every month. That's your family vacation at the end of the year. That's how much you shave without paying the PMI.
Because the reason why I was asking, I mean, this was before COVID and all that. A friend of mine from work had done, she didn't put the 20%. She did an FHA. And then within a year or so, you fix a bathroom, you fix a floor. She got her house reappraised and it went up in value. And then because it went up, it kind of evened out to the 20% that she didn't put down, and she was able to remove the PMI. But that's if you, that's not this one.
That's conventional.
That would be the conventional.
And this has nothing to do with FHA or conventional. What happened just because the house value now is higher. So then going back to the refinance, what we use is so that they change the type of mortgage. And then from that refinance, because now that the house has higher equity, because the house has been improved, and so then now the mortgage balance compared to the value of the house is now lesser, a smaller percentage, right? Because back then they do 96.5% financing, we put 3.5% down payment. But now the house has built-in equity because the house is appreciated, nicer conditions. Now that the house compared to the balance of the loan has 20% or more equity. So then that's the reason why they refinance and get rid of that. But going back to why I'm telling you guys, don't worry about that forever. If you want to not refinance, like I say, it stay the same. But if the whole market has gone down lower, then you will be refinancing, then you will be paying less.
Yeah.
So stop worrying about that, oh my God, why is higher now?
So now this is National Valley Bank. This is a real bank. This is, I've had pre-approvals from banks that weren't spelled right. This is a true bank. You can do some research on them. They're unbelievable. So when you are putting down 3.5% to 5%, it really does give you a lot more wiggle room to have money in your pocket. But that's not even the great part. The great part that she's explaining, which I feel is tremendous. Like, I feel like I want to yell it from the rooftops because no one does this. She can do it with no PMI. That could be savings of $300 and up a month, right? Roughly. And you're talking about, almost $4,000 a year. Like I said, that's a family vacation. That's either an extra. Well, I always think about spending the money. I don't think the right way. But that's an extra mortgage payment every year that you're not thinking about that you have. And if you think about it that way, you put it in and you put it towards your mortgage and you pay your mortgage down quicker. So, it's a win-win. It's really a spectacular program that they have running.
So that is about, we just went real quick, right? The whole process there, as you see that little road map, it helps to give you an outline what happened next, what happened after. Something real quick I want to just mention is about Leslie talk about the title report, right? So I always try to explain to the customers that think about the credit report is all about you, right? Your credit. The title report is anything about the house, whoever involved in that transaction, the seller, the legality of the property. So of course we want to make sure that the people who sell you the house actually the owner of the house, right? Then the title report will tell us this public record they pull from the county records, right? What mortgage company has that mortgage on the house? Any judgment, any going back to the tickets of the seller, any of those informations? Does the house legally is a single family house? Do they have the garage? Do they have the deck? Do they have the pool? Do they have any violations? Everything on that will be part of the report. That's why your attorney will be ordered that on your behalf to protect your interests. Because we want to make sure that when I put a mortgage on this house to rent to you, I'm going to partner with you in that house, right? I need to make sure that no one else, have mortgage on it. And so we want to make sure that we're getting protected, you're getting protected. That's why Leslie's going to get the title review and make sure that anything belongs to this house is all good. And so that before the closing, everything is already sorted out with the seller's attorney. Everything should be clear as clear, or they have the paperwork to bring it to the closing to show that it's clear. Otherwise, we would not let you go to it. Got it? And that's why title report is extremely important. And the reason why there's a title report is to give you insurance, right? The reason why is the report is so that we know what's going on. The title company keep their word to say, as of this day, you go to closing. After the closing, let's say the title company missed a search. That actually somebody put a lien on the house, or someone else actually has a claim on the house, but then the title company missed it. You pull the policy up and say, no. That is something that I got protected as a title insurance to protect that this information is accurate, right? And that's the reason why the whole purpose of the report is so that you got also covered as a title insurance. And then the bank also got to have title insurance too. One called owner's coverage, to cover you as the owner. One called lender's coverage, to have the lender, right? And so that is part of that part in the process. You will see the title report and the whole process. Okay? Baldo?
Yes.
So we finished, let's say, all the way the step by step, because I can tell you I can take over this talk for that all day.
She has a lot of knowledge. She's very thorough. She's up always. She looks like she's 21. I don't understand everything. She's perfect. So Candice is unbelievable. But with that being said, it is a lot of information being thrown at you, and this isn't what we're trying to make this tonight. But you have her contact phone number, you have all of ours, you have Leslie's as well. If you guys have any questions that you kind of sitting back on, you're like, what's this? Give us a call. That's what we're here to do. Honestly, we're here to help you. At the end of the day, we've run through all this, right? Contracts are signed. We have a mortgage. We're clear to close, which are the three most beautiful words in real estate. That means your loan is ready. The bank has the check ready for you, and we go off and we sit down at the table, we do a bunch of signing, we hand them a check, and for 30 years you make a monthly payment, and that's it, you own a house. But to get to there, it seems overwhelming. And the reason why you want to set yourself up with a great team, which I know I have surrounding me, is to make these steps as easy as possible. So finally, you sit down at the closing table, you sign up all the papers, everything is done. Congratulations, you're a homeowner. You own a home. So this is what the goal is. This is why you guys are here tonight. Again, I'm sure you have better things to do on a Monday night than come listen to me talk and sweat. But you know, this is what we're here for. This is the goal. And my job and everyone else in this room's job is to make this goal achievable for you. As easy and with the least amount of stress as possible. And how we do that is through knowledge. We give you knowledge every single step of the way. And we make sure you know every step and what you're getting into. You might like some steps, you might not like some steps, but they're all there and they all need to be done to get to this point. And this is where we want to get to. And that's it. I just want to, real fast before we wrap it up, I want to introduce everybody on Sold by Baldo team. They're amazing. I love all of them. I don't like all of them. I love them. They work, if not just as hard as me, harder than me. We cover each other. We always have each other's back, and they're just a great team to be around. So I'm going to let Marco just say a couple of quick words. Joe and Barbara.
Hey again, Marco Dardrini, thank you for coming out. Just real quick, I'm primarily the buyer's agent. If you decide to work with us, I'll be taking you out, I'm showing you homes. I'm never going to sell you a home. I'm going to take you to the house that you guys want to see. You guys tell me the idea, how many bedrooms. You guys pick the house. I don't push a house on anyone. It's, as you mentioned earlier, it's not like buying a pair of shoes. This is, you know, not your forever home, but it's the biggest purchase you're going to make. And I wouldn't sleep at night if I know I just put you in the house just to get a commission. That's not what I do, and that's not what any of us do. You know, I'm on this team for a reason. We surround ourselves with good people, and we want to continue working with you afterwards. You know, you refer us. I can make money quick and give you a raw deal, but that's not going to help me in the future. So, any questions that you have, we're here. Any step away, even if you don't use us, you know, we're here. We're here to help. All right, appreciate it. Thank you for coming out.
Probably won't get the same tone from us, but yeah. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can always come back to us.
Giuseppe Di Bartolo, Sold by Baldo team. The one thing that you want to take away from this from the beginning is always, you know, interview any buyer's agent you want or any real estate agent you go, because being comfortable is the number one priority. And that's our number one priority, is actually making you comfortable every step of the way. No matter which way you go, whether you have a question or not, we're here to answer those questions and make those questions be the best answer for you. So this way you never feel overwhelmed in any way, shape, or form. We want to make it so that we take all that burden off your shoulders. This way you're not worrying. You're not worrying, going frantic. Oh my God, here, we'll get the answers for you. We'll communicate in every aspect, whether it's the bank or the attorneys or the inspectors, to get where you need to get to make that sale and make that home purchase option for you the best there is. So no matter what it is, that's what we're here for.
That's it. Beautiful. Barbara's pretending to be on the phone so she doesn't have to do this, and she doesn't want a part of it. Barbara is amazing, top producer. She does everything with nothing but heart. She's not a salesperson. Before this, was a chef for 20 years. I am not a salesperson. I know how to yell in kitchens. That's what I know how to do. So I think the best people to work with aren't salespeople. They're people who are looking out for your best interest, how I started it. And that's why, you know, the success keeps going up and up, because all we care about is your options. What's going on for you, what's best for you. So I hope you guys got something out of tonight. Again, this was a lot of information, jam-packed. Thank you for coming again. I appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, ever, please reach out to us. All our information is there. And now we'll do the raffle. All right? Thank you very much, guys.